Alright, I'm back to update my Construct 3 review. I've been playing around with it for a little while, and I will say this, I love that it's on the browser and that I can, first off, I can try out my games on my phone, and if I'm doing anything else, if I'm on holiday somewhere, if I'm doing anything away from a computer, I can hop on, I can play around with what I've got, I can show off what I've got, I can get somebody to test it, I can download a debug APK, I can see how in test mode how my ads are doing. So all of that is awesome. And then even further, I will even say, if you're looking to make HTML games, browser games, this is the way to go. Construct is as good as it gets, if not the best at it. I saw people talking about Godot, or Godot, whichever one you want to call it. Awesome game engine. Go check it out if you haven't. Go play around with it. It's free. Just get your hands dirty with it. It's not going to be as easy to make an HTML game. So that's just, if that's what you're looking for, Construct is perfect. This is made for it. It is designed and ready to go for it. And I'm a big fan of that for that aspect. However, I hate the subscription system they moved to. I'm not gonna fault them. They need to justify all the effort. They put in a lot of work, guys. The updates that happen, they come constant, and they're always adding good stuff. I'm not saying this engine's ever going to be perfect. It's never going to be what it's not. It is what it is. It's a visual scripting system with a 2D visual editor that's great, and you can get your hands dirty, and you can change stuff, and you can add stuff. You can make it more unique. There are a lot of plugins that are available already. There are people that have done a lot of that kind of work. If you're willing to go put in the effort of putting their stuff in, making sure it works, making sure everything's running fine. Exporting has gotten easier. They have updated it. It used to be they couldn't do a signed APK. It would just be an unsigned APK. And so I was actually kind of used to Android Studio, so I just used that to release my games, which I'll do a video soon to show people how to use Android Studio and get it released, which it's really easy if you don't know how to do it. And you probably, if you are messing up on it, because I've seen people post a few things, different places where they're struggling with how to, or they were struggling. Hopefully it's easier now that they'll sign the APK for you. I've got to fix that. But it's really easy, and you're probably just missing something really simple if you are missing anything at all. So they've made that easier, and they're constantly updating it. They're getting really close to their first stable release. But for example, when I released, I tried the other day, I successfully pulled it off. I made 2 HTML releases from my Unreal Engine over here that they'll play. It's just not as easy, and it's not as easy to release. It's not as easy to export them. It's not as easy to play around with them, and it's just not as easy to get them out if you're making an HTML game. I mean, let's be honest, it looks pretty awesome when you make an Unreal HTML game, but it takes so much to run it and stream that. I mean, we're not quite there yet in terms of our browser memory, but it's heading there. I mean, I think HTML is going to be crazy big in the future, and not long. Are already really big for the 2D space, but getting there for the 3D space. But I will say it's nice to have something like this. I don't want to pay the subscription, but it's really nice to play around with these games. You could probably make something pretty awesome. They did themselves up here. If you want to play it, just go in and try their little test game here, which you can use these assets. I believe you have to alter the game, but it is a pretty cool little example they give you, and they give you, let's open it up. They give you the full example, which is really pretty awesome. You can learn how to make your own little top-down dungeon crawler, Zelda style game, and let's see, and it's well commented from what I can tell. So you could go through and you can take all of this information they give you and build your own game. Now, most engines do this. You can do that in Godot. So this is not by any means unique to this. But if this is the kind of game you want to make, you've never used any kind of scripting, you don't know how to code a thing, you've never sat down and done any of that, this gives you the basic bones of what scripting is. Visual scripting, this is not, to me, this is closer than the Blueprint system is. I prefer C++ when I'm using with Unreal, but this is closer just in terms of structure. Now, they're both doing the same thing. It's really just, you're doing the same thing no matter what. It's just a different way of putting the language together. So you should just pick the engine that feels comfortable, that you're going to be comfortable with finishing a game with, and go with that one. Don't listen to anybody else's snarky comments about what's best for them, or what's best for game development, or any of that. You can make a great game with Construct, and you can export it to multiple, pretty much anywhere. I mean, when I was signing up with Nintendo the other day, Construct 2 and 3. Those were two, like, they're right there next to Unity in terms of what they want to work with, who the companies, the engines they want to work with. I mean, it was Unreal, it was anything that was C++, and then they mentioned Unity and C#. Then they straight up just mention Construct. It's just part of what they want to work with, because Construct has made it that easy to convert from. Now, I'm not saying you're going to run into issues. Everybody that I've heard made a big release, everything that I've read suggests that you're going to have some issues. And I think it happens. It's just going to be the case when you're working with an HTML engine and you're going from that to, whatever other language it might happen to be. So yeah, you should give it a shot. It is, I think, free to try, if I'm correct, and you can hop in. You get a limit on your events, but you can definitely make a game with not that many events. I mean, this is, I don't know, I can condense all of this. This is kind of haphazard. I made some of this at a game jam, and then I just kind of kept going with it, and I've got to finish it. She's my little baby, but she is not close to being done. There's so many glitches.